Washington Irving Middle School, home to about 1,200 students, over 100 staff members, and is the nighttime home to the community of learners. So together we're working about 18 hours a day in this facility to enhance the community learning. I have a population of middle school students at Washington Irving that are pretty typical of middle school students anywhere. The thing I'm very fortunate about, and I go in and talk to students as often as I can to praise those that I don't get to know as well. And that's the 98% of the kids who come to school every day, do the things that they're supposed to do their work, cooperate with their teachers, and go home and do their homework. I can't say enough to them to commend them the fact that if they pass people, they will make it in life.
We are the young, the children of the world.
We hold tomorrow in our hands.
We are the young, the promise of a brighter day.
The future waits at our command.
Teach us well.
Teach us how to care.
Give us hope.
A hope that we can share.
And we'll walk hand in hand in the light of the rising sun. We are the young. We are the young.
We have a diversity of students, a richness of students, and an energy level that is incredibly rich. We have a joy de vivre in the faces walking down the halls, in the exuberance of the hellos just walking down the halls, that lift one's spirits and make it a joy to them.
We are the young,
The children of the world.
we hold tomorrow in our hands.
The kids here are really wonderful. They work hard. If you take a look at our honor roll, you can see that we have lots of kids on the honor roll. They work very hard and are very successful in their endeavors.
The children of the world.
We hold tomorrow in our hands.
We are the young. The promise of
There is so much going on here. It's almost mind-boggling. There's so much that happens in the building that many people are responsible for keeping this community alive. And it's exciting to see the beneficence of everybody and the constant giving. And being in that environment encourages one to be as giving as well.
Give us hope,
A hope that we can share.
and we'll walk hand in hand in the light of the rising sun. We are the young.
Everyone here works together. If there is anything that any one of us needs, we all pitch in and give it to them. Whenever one of us has a baby, we have baby showers. When one of the teacher's daughters had a baby, we had a grandma shower. We always pitch in and work together. So there are lots of things that we do here at Irving to bring us together, and we're all pitching for one another, rooting for one another. I attribute the family closeness and success to that every teacher at Irving is a very caring person. And it not only is within the school, but it's outside of the school as well. Sometimes the kids will have activities that they would like to invite their teachers to come to. And they do. They come after school at different activities in the community to watch the children, to see them perform something outside. And that lets the kids know that we care about them not only in school, but outside school as well.
Our teens are taking a course, some of our teens are taking this course in peer helping because we have learned that sometimes student to student, for mediation purposes and for explanations on what it means to be growing up, is really much more beneficial and on target than for young people to hear it from the older folks, so to speak. And so some years back, there was a decided effort made that we would have this exchange periodically. And so our youngsters sign up for the class. The teacher does a very fine job of helping them understand one another as well as themselves, and then hopefully from that extend themselves to other people to help them with their problems, which is what it's all about. Once we understand ourselves better, we can extend that same understanding hopefully to other people.
Reaching out for middle school students, I think, is a very important part of their education. They need to learn to give. They need to learn how to receive as well. Some of the examples that we have here of giving include a group of students who go to Keene Mill Elementary School next door. They perform a Reading Buddies service to younger students, and the students there not only get read to, but having that big older friend really kind of gives them something to look forward to, and our students get rewards from that as well. In terms of receiving, we also have a peer helping program and a mentoring program in conjunction with West Springfield High School. Some of those students were over this week, met with their younger mentees, and we'll get to know them very well. They'll come over once a week, talk to the kids, how's it going, kind of encourage them. Many times these students are athletes who are doing well at the high school, and unfortunately some of our middle school students see themselves as athletes who won't need an education. They're going to make their big bucks in professional sports. The high schoolers point out to them that's not necessarily so. You need both.
Well, human relations at Washington Irving are really predicated on a nurturing kind of philosophy. And that nurturing extends to students as well as to staff. And so I think that what we try to do here is establish a level playing field so that all youngsters who come to us can have an opportunity to grow academically as well as in their character, if you will. And as far as character education is concerned, we do have the Irving Way, whereby we expect our students to be respectful and responsible, hardworking, honest, and fair. And those are traditional American values that I think people of all backgrounds can buy into and exercise, if you will.
What we try to do here in the library is to draw kids into the library. And once they're here, we try to also promote independent reading and enjoyment of reading through not just contests, but also programs that we have. For instance, we just today had the book and bag lunch. And the students come in with their lunches and the books that they've read. Actually, they don't even have to bring a book with them. They don't even have to talk about a book. They can just come and listen to other people talk about a book. But really, it's a good forum to bring in faculty and students to share what they've read on an informal basis. So the library here gives them the time and the opportunity to do that, and we feel that's a very useful thing to do because reading can take them beyond Springfield, beyond MTV, all over the place, all kinds of ideas and places and things to enjoy. So we think it's a valuable thing to do. We like it. We also have a morning reading here at Irving. The students who arrive early, and there seem to be quite a few of them who get here, 7:30, 7:20, 7:15, some of them. So we bring them back, whoever wants to come actually, to the library here at 7:35, and I read a novel to them. And they seem to really enjoy that. And what that is no tests, no stress, no assignment, just come in here and read for the sheer enjoyment of being read to, for the sheer enjoyment of just listening to a good story. So we want to promote reading in every way we can, and we do that here in the library, we hope.
Lily slipped the key out from under her collar.
We have a wonderful volunteer program here at Washington Irving, and primarily because we have wonderful parents who are willing to extend themselves, willing to give up their time, and come and give assistance to us. There are many things in the school that we would not be able to do as well as we do them without parent cooperation and parent assistance, and we are very grateful for that. And at the same time, we recognize one of the reasons we do have this privilege to have parents come and help us is that our community has parents who have the ability and the time to give of themselves. I recognize that some places where I have worked before, that is not always the case because parents are very busy holding down several jobs at the same time, and much as they would like to help the school, it's very difficult from an economic standpoint. But here at Washington Irving, we're quite fortunate that we have so many wonderful parents who are able to give us that time to help their children and all the children of the school so we can run these fine programs that we offer.
Well, there's so many changes occurring in education and have been over the past several years that our students and our staff have had to learn side by side. And the creation of those teams caused our staff to do an awful lot of studying about what middle school was about. In looking at the curriculum here at Washington Irving, one of the things that we've tried to do is stay abreast of changes that have been occurring that will make learning relevant for kids. And since that time, we've been in the forefront because of the efforts of our teachers to make science an important part of our program. We are currently piloting the newest version of the Science Initiative, which came with, again, 25 Power Max and a new curriculum, and a lot of new learning for our teachers to absorb. That's another example of the community of learners that we have here, including our teachers, who then have to bring our students along.
The strengths in curriculum at Washington Irving are wonderful. They're all good. And we have 2 courses, pre-algebra and the algebra classes. And the strength in the curriculum, actually not just in Irving but countywide, is based on 3 things. We have a lot of manipulatives. We have wonderful, wonderful computer lab access. And we have a brand new component to the curriculum program, which they started last year, was introduced, and they've been working on it and honing it, and that's called Great Expectations. It used to be that kids always had, they were given a problem, and you'd add it or you'd subtract it or multiply it, like in fractions. But now it's multi-level thinking, and the kids really have to think. It's difficult for them. They've never had to do this before, where they had to think and analyze and reason through a long process before they came to an answer. And the manipulatives really help in 2 ways. It helps students to better understand why. When you were a kid and you were learning algebra, you might have been able to manipulate the numbers, but when you do it using the manipulatives, you can actually see why it works. It makes sense. And it also helps those groups of students who learn better abstract math concepts with concrete things. So that's also another strength. And of course, the computer labs, I feel really spoiled at Irving here because we have so much access to the computer lab. The kids still have to do everything with paper and pencil. In fact, you'll see them do that today. First they do it with paper and pencil, but then they also do it on the calculator. And the reason why it's so important, now I'm talking algebra, is because of the change in the society. So I don't think you can come through society not being familiar with and comfortable with all aspects of the computer. What the calculator does, it simulates situations that are driven by computers. For example, a lot of the scientists, after all, math is just an application used in science, but they get data that comes down off these computers. And what the graphing calculator does is it takes these data points, and given that, the kids can develop equations based on that. Then they can see the graph of it, and they can interpret those graphs and analyze what they mean and make predictions for the future. It's really just a change in our society based on what's happened with the computers and how we function, but they still have to know how to do it on paper and pencil. All right, I'd like to see the students in algebra at the end of the year to really feel comfortable with data analysis for the future. I think that's where we're heading. I think it's computer-driven. And I'd like them to be able to be given data, to be able to analyze it, understand what it means, also to be able to work in groups comfortably and to solve problems, any kind of problems, and understand that there are a variety of ways to approach these problems, and we pick and choose the best techniques and methods used which are appropriate for each individual problem.
At Irving, just like with Fairfax, the rest of Fairfax County, we do center our curriculum on writing in the English classes, but also the other core areas, science, mathematics, civics, and all the other areas are required to do writing across the curriculum. So they're required to go through the entire writing process, from drafting to revision and editing, all the way to the publishing stage, with at least 1 piece of writing per quarter. And the curriculum that we do teach is fairly traditional in the sense that we teach grammar, we teach literature, we teach writing. We do it with a little bit of a twist, though, especially when we teach composition. Instead of just writing about composition as far as literature, we try and do some more cross-curricular work. We try and pull in the different disciplines. We think it's more important for our students, at least since these students are going to be the students of tomorrow, to be able to write about mathematical formulas, to be able to write about scientific procedures, and to also be able to both write and speak about social issues that may come up in their civics classes, etc. So really, to prepare themselves for the future, they have to be able to write all across all the different subjects. In the English lesson, we were learning grammar to begin with. We started out the class by going over the innovations project that we started working on yesterday. And this is where the students get to choose one innovation or invention that they're interested in. And then through the use of writing as well as technology, they're going to be building a presentation that puts this innovation where it sits in history, as well as how it affected both history and the social events, the economics, the politics, etc. Not only in the present day, but also whenever it first initially was invented or thought up. So we're going to start out with that, and then we're going to go, of course, to the dreaded grammar. We did prepositions, and of course, the students are a little weak with grammar because we had a de-emphasis in the last few years on grammar being taught in the middle school level. Thankfully, we are re-emphasizing grammar integrated into their writing and their speaking. So we're working on prepositions today. We worked on prepositions today. And we're going to be learning a little more about prepositional phrases and what they modify and trying to figure out exactly how sentences are put together. I'm hoping the students will get out of my class, as far as English, the ability to communicate in both writing and speaking. We do a lot of public speaking in my class. We do a lot of presentations because that's what the students will be having to do in the future. When they go out in the real world, or even in high school or college or a career, they have to be able to write a memo. They have to be able to speak clearly so that people can understand what they're saying. They should be able to give and take directions. If they can do these basic things, then they're going to achieve no matter what line of work or field they go into.
As we work through the renovation and the reorganization into middle school, and the vision that we had to apply technology in an integrated way as a tool for students to use as part of their learning, we envisioned a student being able to, for example, go to a science lab and using the microcomputer-based lab, get their experiment reports, their lab reports printed out, save them on a server here in the school, be able to send them off to the math teacher or pull them up later when they were in math class, and take those science results, turn them into graphs that were meaningful, perhaps pull them up again in an English class and have the English teacher help them turn that into some type of a report, and even perhaps in social studies, looking at the social implications of some of what they were studying in science, and emailing their end result to all 4 core teachers and saying, grade me on this. That kind of tied together and integrated learning was what we had as a vision when we started, and we've gotten very close to that at this point. We have students using technology in our science program to support them. They use word processors to do their work. They use the school's internet to go out across the world to get resource materials, pull that back in. Our journalism students get perspectives from professional journals from all over the world as they do articles for their newspaper productions, which always wind up being award-winning productions. It brings learning to life.
The technology here at Irving has always been a part of the curriculum. Everything's been integrated together. It's not separate. It's a constant endeavor to keep it going and up to date and integrating with what the teachers want and learning for the students and for the teachers as well. Here at Washington Irving, we have integrated the technology within all the disciplines, and so it overlaps. Here at Irving, we have a team situation where the 4 academic subjects are together on one team. So when the teachers decide on a project, be it the Great Depression, studying of biomes, or endangered species, then each one of the disciplines will have a portion of that large project. It could be as far as research on the internet, which would then get picked up by the English teacher to be brought into some type of word processing or a form of multimedia presentation. The social studies would look at the aspects of maybe the historical or the legal parts that were involved, and again, they may do some searches on the net for that information. As a result, everything blends together. We have set up here at Washington Irving the capability for a student to save a particular piece of work anywhere in the building and pick it up someplace else. through our local area network that we have. So it makes it very convenient and also allows us to have large files for the kids to work with, which can't be saved on a disk. The reason that technology is so necessary today is that every aspect of our lives is involved with technology. All the businesses that are out there, be it a retail business or be it a service business, it involves some form of technology, from the ATM machines that we use to the scanners in the grocery store. So it is an integral part of our lives today and will be for these students that we have.
With the advances in technology, it's imperative now that students feel comfortable and challenged in their new era. So they need to feel comfortable, and this is what we're trying to do in our endeavor is to make them feel comfortable with technology as it is and as it's going to be. What is synergistics, you might ask? I like to think of it as cooperation for completeness. It probably emanated from trying to include a variety of technological advances into the technology curriculum. Fortunately, we were able to come up with a program that stimulated a multiplicity of senses.
All right, way to be.
Synergistics is unique in that, teams of students, and we call them teams because they need to cooperate and they get some additional information from each other and they help each other, which is really the neat part of this course. And they spend 7 to 10 days in any one of our 15 curriculum modules. And they master that subject using a variety of technology, and it works real well. And then they move on via whatever the computer says, the printout, to their next module. One of the things that we do to get the kids to feel comfortable is we start off with allowing them to communicate with the computer via AutoCAD. And in that, I can just think of they bring a myriad of experiences from across the building, and one I can think of is their math. And sometimes when you learn a subject in a different setting, it doesn't become clear to you. And then when you hit it in another subject, completely different, it becomes crystal clear. And that's what we've done in here. I can think of, in AutoCAD, they have to use mathematics in order to figure out certain items that are missing. I can think of one as a line segment that was missing in one of the drawings, and they had to use a Pythagorean theorem because it involved a right triangle. And wow, when they finally mirrored that with what they've learned in math, it became crystal clear, and it showed them that they don't just study math for math, they study math so that they can improve their future. We may be the luckiest school in the area for what we have, but we can't stop here. We have to continually improve to get the kids to that next level.
Here at Washington Irving, where you have the 7-period day plus some after-school activities, we have room in the schedule to accommodate not only the academics, and an intense academic program it is, but an outstanding music program to appeal to those students who are truly talented and interested in that direction, and a fine arts program that includes beginning and advanced art. We, in addition to that, have a drama program which appeals to an entirely different group of kids, and there's something for everyone. So we receive often kids from school-based gifted and talented programs at the elementary level who have been selected for a number of different reasons, not purely academic. And the diverse electives that we have here at Irving allow those youngsters to pursue the interests that they have and develop the talents that they have. And I think that's part of educating the whole person.
Okay. What we do is, in our efforts to encourage the individual to fulfill their full potential, we do that across all the disciplines, not only the electives, not only the core subjects, but through teams, through efforts in interdisciplinary projects. And what we like to do is to encourage the individual, especially in terms of self-discipline, a sense of responsibility, and confidence to make good choices. And we do that by offering a plethora, a wide choice across the curriculum. The more opportunities students have from which to select courses, the more opportunities they'll have to fully develop as individuals. Without those opportunities, they have nothing from which to choose.
One of the things that we're really proud of here at Washington Irving is the accomplishments of our students in the music program. I've had parents come in new from anywhere in the world and say that You know, they've been recommended by someone that they ran into an airport in Germany or wherever, that if their student was involved in a music program, they might want to look at Washington Irving Middle School. Our band for a long time has had an outstanding reputation. They won awards in all of their festivals, and each year when they go off to concert competition, our string program has grown to a very large program for the orchestra, and our choral program, likewise, has always been an award-winning program. We feed into Lee High School and West Springfield High School. Both schools have outstanding music programs, and partly due to the support that Washington Irving has given to the students that we have here.
The benefits of participating in the fine arts are multiple. The main benefit that I see is the development of a student's self-confidence. With that self-confidence, a student can do anything. Students take risks, they participate more in other classes and ask more questions. So it really spills over to their other classes as well. In addition to the self-confidence, another benefit is self-discipline, because all the arts require discipline. There are basic tenets to all the arts that must be applied to the growth and development of the skill in playing a musical instrument or in supporting the voice, either in theater or in singing, and the skills that must be maintained in the development of painting. So all the arts develop, in addition to self-discipline and confidence, a sense of responsibility and mutual respect. The one thing that makes Washington Irving most unique, when there is so much from which to choose, is the people. The people are gifts. And every day we have the opportunity to encounter those gifts, to share with one another, and to bring that forth to the youth. So it's absolutely the people that is the most unique quality of Irving in terms of communication, in terms of the generosity of spirit, in terms of the mutual respect and understanding for each other's roles.
Both the teachers and the students, the feeling of that is they want to be here. They want to be here, they're here to learn, and they're here to teach. That is the core emphasis, I think, at Washington Irving, to succeed. And I think that striving for success is what makes Irving as a school a successful place.
I contribute our academic success to a holistic approach, a faculty that's absolutely dedicated, a community that is very, very supportive. Everything at Irving is extremely supportive for the benefit of the student, and that's what's I think what's our major accomplishment here at Irving.
I know that teaching here is the only place I would ever want to go. I have never asked for a transfer or anything like that, because what we have here, they don't have anywhere else. And it's hard to pinpoint just one item that we have here, because it's so many things that make the place work. Everyone just is wonderful. It's a great place to work.
With enthusiastic students, motivated teachers, and a supportive community, there's little we can't accomplish. This community of learners includes both scholars and artists, students and athletes, adults and young teens, working side by side to create a better tomorrow.